So almost 19 years ago, I walked into Cherry Hill West as a senior. For those of you doing the math, I'm 36. So I barely even made it halfway through my first day when one of my assistant principals called me down to his office. So I had two assistant principals at the time. One gentleman had a profound impact on my life, and the other guy was the guy you didn't want to be called down by. When I got called down to the assistant principal's office, right, I did what every kid does. You think about all the things that you did wrong that day. Usually for me, it was like 5 or 6 things, but that day, I was pretty good. So I got called to in his office, I took a seat, and he said to me, Muscelli, what are you doing when you get out of here? What are you doing after you graduate? And before I could even answer, he said, I know you work at Pizza Hut. You're going to be staying there flipping pizzas your whole life. And I said, well, 1, Pizza Hut doesn't flip pizzas, and 2, I'm applying to college. And he said, where? What college? Idiot college? And I said, no. I said, I'm going to apply to Rider, to LaSalle. And he said, Rider? I went to Rider. You're too dumb to get in there. And, I sat there for the next 5 minutes while this man insulted me and threatened me to behave that year. That was his thing, to tear kids apart and to bring them down. I wasn't falling for it. At least on the outside, I wasn't falling for it. On the inside, I was hurting. In a way, I felt as if he was taking away a piece of my home. At that time, school was my home. It was one of the only places where I felt safe. I had a house, it was right down the street. I walked to and from there every single day. I had an awesome mom, brother, sister, but it was my dad who made life miserable for me. I dealt with some sort of abuse almost every day. So did my older sister and younger brother. But the worst was seeing my mom go through the same thing. At times, the pain was unbearable. At times, I really thought I wasn't going to make it. That's why school was my home. Now, this guy right in front of me, through his insults, was taking away a piece of that home. And it's a reason why that year I made a pledge to myself, a promise that when I became an educator, I would spend my time lifting kids up and not bringing them down. After my senior year at West, I went on to LaSalle University. At LaSalle, there was many obstacles along the way. One of them was financial. Despite working long hours and getting tons of loans, I almost had to drop out because I didn't have enough to pay tuition. But fortunately, my grandfather stepped up to the plate and helped me pay some bills. The biggest obstacle I faced, however, was myself. See, after years of abuse, I had low self-esteem and no sense of self-worth. I struggled with that for years. And those dark times, those times when I really struggled, I thought about the pain, and I used that to become better than the people that brought me that pain, and used that to motivate me to achieve my dreams. In 4 years, I graduated from LaSalle at the top of my class, and 4 months later, I achieved the dream I had since I was in 6th grade. I became a history teacher. And unlike my former assistant principal, I think that I've spent my entire career helping lift kids up instead of bringing them down. I tell you this story not because I want you to feel pity for me or show you how I prevailed through tough times. I tell you this because I know through working with many of you, some have faced similar struggles as me, and some much more challenging. See, there's a tendency to think that just because you are an NHS or just because you're getting inducted tonight, that this has been easy for you, that all of this was handed to you. But I know for many of you, school hasn't always come easy. Life hasn't always come easy. Some have struggled with their own health, while others with the health of a loved one or loss of a loved one. Some have struggled at home, and others have struggled in school. You've made it this far. You've made it in the NHS. You have a lot to be proud of. And when tonight is over, you need to keep fighting. You need to keep doing your thing. To those of you who have not yet struggled, that time will come. When it does, it may feel as if your dream is out of reach or the whole world is against you. To you, I say, keep fighting. Never give up. Struggle, in a way, is a part of life. No matter who you are, or where, or what you were born with, struggle will always be there. It will shape you. But it's up to you as to how it will shape you. Will you let it bring you down, or will you let it lift you up? You should prefer the latter. In times of hopelessness, as a young, aspiring history teacher, I often thought of where our country would be if someone like President Lincoln allowed his struggle with depression and the loss of 2 of his children to hamper his ability to govern and to ultimately win the Civil War. Where would we be? Where would we be if all of those brave men and women who fought against totalitarianism in the 20th century allowed fear to get in their way of victory? Where would we be? Where would we be if Dr. King allowed racism and bigotry to beat down his dream of equality and freedom? Where would we be? Where would we be if you allowed your struggle to overtake you? To the NHS Exec Board, I can't tell you folks what an honor it is to be here tonight. I left the high school not too long ago to head over to Bunker Hill, and I never even had the opportunity to say goodbye with the way how things went. As some of my former students know, I don't cry much, except when I watch The Notebook, right? Greatest love story ever. Danny D, you know what I'm talking about. But I have to be honest, when I did get that letter, I had to go in my office and shed a few tears. Thank you for asking me to come back tonight. It means the world to me, and it's something I'll never forget. Thank you. To my former students who are here tonight, or just those of you that I have shared this school with, because I've shared this school with all of you here tonight, I want to say thank you. While in no way regret my decision to head to Bunker Hill, there is really not a day that goes by where I don't think about you. Spending time with you in the classroom, in the hall, in this school has been one of the greatest privileges of my life. Ladies and gentlemen, congratulations. Keep fighting. Don't let the struggle get to you. God bless, Godspeed, and go Birds.